So you want to know who will win Super Bowl 58? You're in luck, because I'm here to give you my early prediction for the big game. Will it be the 49ers or the Kansas City Chiefs going back to back? Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid taking on Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan, the two best franchises in the NFL since 2019. This is a Super Bowl rematch of Super Bowl 54. So many familiar faces. Kelsey and Kittle. Mahomes, of course. Andy Reid, Spags, Kyle. Then you have to talk about Debo. And, of course, Chris Jones. And so many more names that have been in this spot. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. The list goes on. The Chiefs are champions, looking to go back to back. The 49ers are hungry for their first Super Bowl in a long time, and this group of 49er players have been through it. This is their moment, at least they believe. Let's break down the game. Before I do, Gronk, spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the BLV for NFL content every day, all season long, all off season long. That's all we do on the BLV is NFL all the time. Looking at the stats, the tail of the tape, the 49ers ranked second in total DVOA this season. The Chiefs, fifth. Offensively in EPA, Niners first, 11th for the Chiefs. Defensively, the Chiefs get the edge, 6th versus 10th. The point differential, the Niners were the much more dominant team, plus 193, while the Chiefs landed at plus 77. Many people will handicap this game simply by looking at the quarterbacks. It's Patrick Mahomes, who some are saying is the best quarterback they've ever seen. And while I might not agree with that, he is great. And he's definitely the best quarterback in this game. And he's definitely the more proven quarterback in this game. But can you really count out Brock Purdy after not one, but two comebacks in the playoffs? The kid has moxie. He can make plays in the big spotlight game. And there's none bigger than the Super Bowl. But this game goes so far beyond the quarterbacks. So I want to talk about the matchups on both sides of the football. Starting with the offense of the 49ers, the best offense in football this year, taking on the Chiefs' defense, one of the best defenses in the NFL this year, and the reason they are here, which is another storyline and a counterpoint to the first Super Bowl. Super Bowl 54 featured the 49er great defense versus the great offense of the Chiefs. It's flipped this year. Mahomes is on the Chiefs' offense, but the better unit this year has been the Chiefs' defense. And the Niners have had the best offense, the high-flying unit all season long. They're number one in rushing, number one in passing, in EPA. They're number one in so many different stats, it blows your mind. So can the Chiefs slow them down? It's going to be a bigger test than they've faced all season long. The Chiefs, I expect Spagnuolo to have a great game plan, as he always does in these moments. He's arguably the MVP of that AFC Championship game. Can he slow down Christian McCaffrey? Because that's something that the Ravens never tested. 6 rushes by running backs in an AFC Championship by the Ravens? I couldn't have guessed that. Christian McCaffrey's going to get 20 to 25 carries in this game. And depending on game script, he's going to get fed. And Kyle is going to give him the ball. And Christian McCaffrey might be the very best all-around football player in the NFL, regardless of position. Flawless football player. Balance, speed, explosion. Can run routes, can block, can catch. High IQ and vision. His ability to stop, start, and get the most yards out of every run is going to be critical to this game. And McCaffrey, they traded for him last year for this very moment, this very reason, to be able to lean on a superstar runner of his caliber in this game against an opponent that's bottom 5 in rush defense, that got ran over by the Bills in the divisional round. And the Ravens did not take advantage, but could the Niners? You would have to say that is a heavy, heavy edge for the 49ers. Can they run the ball? Be able to pace the game? Keep Mahomes on the sidelines, allow their defense to be fresh, their pass rush to be fresh, and really control the game from start to finish through McCaffrey and the running game, specifically running to the left with Juszczyk in front, Kittle, and Trent Williams. Difficult to stop. That sets up the play action. That sets up everything else, and that keeps the Niners out of third down and long, where Spags can send his dynamic blitzes and play aggressive man coverage. Obviously, this will be on turf in a dome, so that definitely would favor the faster, quicker, more explosive team in the 49ers and the more offensive team in the 49ers. But it would also give a bit of an edge to maybe the lesser offense, because it could turn into more of an offensive game where the better defense might just be able to make more stops at critical moments. So Kansas City might be able to get something going, especially early in this game, pull ahead and get their pass rush going against Brock Purdy, which is where the biggest weakness would lie, the offensive line of the 49ers. The 49ers, though, have proven they can come back. They've proven in the last couple of games something that we never thought Kyle Shanahan's offense could possibly do. They said it couldn't be done, but he's done it. 24-7 against the Detroit Lions, a team that loves to play from in front, that can run the football. And I really feel like that offensive attack from the 49ers is going to give the Chiefs a lot of issues. You know, the Chiefs defense is really good, but that running game is going to be tough for them to stop. They're going to have to sell out. That means they're going to have to play some risky coverages on the back end. That means they might have to play a lot of man-to-man, which means that, yes, they have great corners, but there's so many mismatches for the 49ers. From George Kittle to Debo to Ayuk to Juwan Jennings to McCaffrey, it's going to be tough to cover those guys in man-to-man. So Spags is going to have to pick his spots, when to blitz, when to play zone, when to play man, when to overload to stop the run, and when not. And he's going to have to pick his spots, and Brock Purdy's going to have to be smart, and Kyle's going to have to draw this up. It would be interesting to see if the 49ers were able to score first, because we haven't seen that in the playoffs yet. That would allow their defense to maybe have a break from stopping the run a little bit more than they have in recent weeks. But also, again, they just feel like they're on a roll coming from behind in these games, and they can score in a hurry. So the 49ers are the more explosive team, and they feature the better offense. But the other side of the ball is maybe the mystery of the game. How will that unfold? It's intriguing because the 49ers, their defense is centered around their front seven. It's centered around their pass rush. It's centered around the ability for them to get to the quarterback and their linebackers' speed and coverage ability. And we've seen teams take it to them. Downhill rushing attacks. We've seen Aaron Jones and now Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery run against this Niners team and Niners front and really put them on their heels and wear down that pass rush. And it wasn't until the second half where they made adjustments to be able to come back and make some critical stops on fourth downs and in the red zone. But you look at Kansas City, they're not a great running team. That's kind of a wild card of this game. Can they run the ball? I believe they can a bit. I definitely think that Andy Reid's going to go to the lab and he's going to figure out some ways to run the ball. Pin and pull plays, some power running plays. Joe Thuney, him being out will definitely be critical. And we've seen the Chiefs are not a super consistent running team. They can do it occasionally. They'll hit a couple explosives, but it's very inconsistent. Meanwhile, you've got a great matchup in the middle of the field. Mahomes likes to pick apart the middle of the field with Travis Kelce, and he's going to be taking on the best linebacker duo for my money in the NFL between Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. When the Niners do get the Chiefs to some second and third and longs, that's going to be where Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave in this pass rush should take advantage of weaker tackle play in Jawan Taylor, Donovan Smith, and then potentially a backup guard on the inside with Joe Thuney out with a torn pec. Can the receivers of the Chiefs make some vertical plays to make the Niners back off a little bit and make it less so that they can play super aggressive and super tight coverage? If MVS can get behind a Thomas in the secondary, or Rashee Rice can beat Charvarius Ward, then that changes the game and the math for the defense of the 49ers. I do think that the best approach for the Chiefs will be quick passing, keeping that pass rush from getting home by getting it out quick and by spelling it with the run game and keeping them out of 3rd and long, 2nd and long. Pass on 1st down quickly, run the ball a little bit, and continue to move the chains that way and keep the Niners off balance. This game could very well turn into an sort of a shootout of sorts. And there's a lot of great matchups. Charvarius Ward and Rashee Rice, Fred Warner and Travis Kelce, Deebo Samuel and McDuffie, Ayuk and Snead, Kittle and Bolton, and McCaffrey and the entire run defense of Spagnuolo. Ultimately, I think this could be a one-score either way game. It could be somewhere, I think, in the 20s, maybe the lower 30s. I do see more points than I see a defensive battle here, especially in a dome, on the turf, on a fast track. To me, the Chiefs have a chance to become a dynasty. This is a huge game for them in history. If they can win 3 Super Bowls back-to-back, that is a dynasty to me. So that would make them a dynasty. At the same time, this does feel like this is the Niners' moment in the Niners' time. They've been to the Super Bowl now. This is their 2nd time. They lost the Chiefs the 1st time, and it was in devastating fashion. This is their ultimate opportunity. They've been to 4 NFC championships. They've had this core together, and now Brock Purdy is playing out of his mind, and they have a storybook playoff run happening right now. But the Chiefs have gone to Buffalo and gone to Baltimore and won both games in different ways, offense and defense. If I'm being realistic, I think if it's basing it on the way that these two teams have played in the regular season, you would take the Niners without hesitation. If it's based on how the teams have played as of late, I think you would lean towards the Chiefs. I think you could pick either team with confidence. I think if you're leaning towards this is going to be a shootout, you got to lean towards the Niners. If you think that the Niners defense will play as poorly as they did against the run against the Lions and the Packers, then you have to lean towards the Chiefs. There's going to be many, like I said at the beginning of this video, that are simply going to pick the Chiefs because of Mahomes, and I also don't disagree with you. But if you believe in Brock Purdy, I think you can pick the Niners. So ultimately, my early pick for this game, I picked the Niners before the season. I picked the Niners before the playoffs. I'm sticking with the Niners to the end. I'm a loyal soldier. And while Chiefs fans will be upset with that, that's just the way it's been all year. And I understand I've picked against you guys, the Chiefs fans out there, and I was wrong. I was wrong. Now, was I distraught about that Raven game plan? Absolutely. Was I thrown off by it? Absolutely. Was I surprised that the Chiefs won? No. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs win this game. Like I said many times, this will be a close game back and forth, and I think the Chiefs could win. My early lean is towards the Niners, something like 27-24 in an absolute epic. I think the difference being that the Niners have the decisive advantage in their run game against the Chief run defense that will help them possess the ball. I think the Chief run offense has been inconsistent all year, which can't take advantage of the biggest weakness of the Niners defense. And that will allow the Niners to play comfortable defense the way they want, which is ultimately rushing the quarterback. And ultimately, that could be the biggest mismatch in this game. Nick Bosa against Jawan Taylor, right? How are the Chiefs able to offset that? On top of that, it just feels like it's the Niners' year just based on these results. Maybe I'm crazy. I do believe that this will be epic. I do believe this will be a great game. You guys let me know in the comment section below how you feel about it. Gronk spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your opinion. Break the game down for me. What do you think is important? What do you think is not important? If you said the Chiefs would win, I agree. If you said the Niners would win, I agree. I just want good reasoning. And I'll break down the game in depth later in the week. Thanks for watching. It's Mitch. Let's have a great Super Bowl 58. Peace.